Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the BCAG's regular meeting of September 25th, 2025. Please join me in a salute to the flag of our nation. Ready? Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Board Member Connolly?
Here.
Board Member Durfee? Board Member Ritter? Here. Board Member Kimmelshoe?
Here.
Board Member Peters?
Here.
Board Member Arnold? Board Member Goldstein? Here. Board Member Calderon?
Here.
Board Member Pittman?
Here.
Board Member Lazan?
Here. Would any board member like to pull anything from this agenda? Is there any electronic comments or anything like that we need to worry about? Anybody from the audience like to pull something? I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Quite done this thing, and it is something I've never done before. I'm still learning here. Okay. Okay, we're on to the regular agenda. We have the action item here. Number 11, public hearing approval resolution, whatever, BCAG's FY 2025-5310 application. Sarah.
Good morning, Board. We are applying for the Federal Transit Administration to replace paratransit vans that have exceeded their useful life. And as part of this application, we need to have a public hearing to determine if there are any other nonprofit agencies available to provide paratransit service in the county. So I'm just requesting that the chair.
Okay, any questions or comments? We'll open the public hearing. Does it remain open or do we close it? You know,
Unless there's any comments online? No online comments.
no online comments? We'll close that public hearing. Now, we got to vote on it too, right? Need a motion. That means you guys go second.
Second.
There you go. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Okay, items for information. 2020, this is number 12, 2026, Regional Transportation Improvement Plan Draft Project Recommendation. Vaughn.
Good morning, Board. BCAG is required to prepare and adopt the 2026 Regional Transportation Improvement Program by December 15th. Submit to the California Transportation Commission. The same agenda item that was included in your board agenda packet last month. BCAG issued a call for project considerations. It was presented to the Transportation Advisory Committee. BCAG received one project for funding consideration, largely because our fund estimate for new funding is pretty limited at $3.2 million. The same project, the City of Chico's roundabout project on State Route 99 and Eaton Road, somewhat mirror side of the highway. So this is just an information item. We are on schedule. The next step is to prepare the complete document for one project.
Question or comments by board members?
So there'd be two roundabouts on each side of the freeway.
Operational improvements will actually materialize once both sides are done.
Other questions or comments? We'll move on to number 13, revised EIRCP application, Chico to Sacramento Intercity Bus Services. Chris.
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, we're taking some initial steps towards moving this Chico to Sac Intercity Bus Service project forward. And, you know, we've kind of kicked this around a bit over the years, but think the timing seems right to maybe start taking some steps to see if it's gonna, to make sense to get, into service within the next maybe 12 or 18 months. So, you know, we've been sitting on this 21 million in funding, that can only be used for these transit-related projects that we received back in 2023. Initially, we thought we were gonna move the environmental and design on the North Valley Rail project forward. Timing's not right for that to happen, and so what we're gonna do is shift some of these funds to this Chico to Sac Intercity bus service, which involves essentially revising this application that goes to the state. We're hoping to get that to them next month. It takes a few months for them to approve it and get back to us. We just kind of want to get out ahead of that. And then, meanwhile, we're updating some of the key assumptions from the 2022 study, the Chico to Sacramento Intercity Transit Strategic Plan. We just want to bring these numbers up to current date, up to 2025 numbers. Some of them are 5 years or older or more. So we're updating ridership estimates, the capital and operating costs, funding assumptions. We just want to make sure that, like, if we're going to move forward with implementing this service next 12 to 18 months, that, you know, our ducks in a row. I think that it's something that's fundable, it's something that's sustainable. So we expect to have those updates complete like in December. So we're thinking we'll be bringing kind of that kind of detailed information to you at the December meeting or possibly the January meeting. So, you know, kind of how we're looking at it right now is the 2022 study evaluated taking over full Amtrak Route 3 thruway bus from Chico to Stockton. Taking a little bit of a look at it internally, we're thinking preliminarily that it might make sense to just go to Sacramento. It's a lot of extra distance to go to Stockton. They require coordination with San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority staff, but it'll allow for probably an easier service for BCAG to manage. Going to Sacramento, we could probably do more round trips with fewer buses and things like that. That's potential. Again, you know, we'll have better information months. But the idea with taking over that Route 3 is that, you know, two things. It allows for the bus-only ticketing. You wouldn't be required to buy a train ticket like you want to take that service. And then secondarily, we would receive state funding to help out with the operational costs of the system. So we actually have a meeting with BCAG staff at 10 today. So we're working on that to see if that's feasible. But yeah, we're kind of excited about the possibility. I think we included in the memo just like, you know, there's probably going to be the same stops as identified in the 2022 study. There's 3 stops in Chico, a stop in Oroville, 2 stops in Marysville. And then we're looking at Sacramento and the idea of having a stop at J and 4th Street, and then the final stop being at the Sacramento Valley Station. And that stop at J and 4th makes for a really nice connection to kind of like the Golden One Center, call it the Downtown Commons or the DOCO. So yeah, easy walking distance from that stop, but you can also go 2 blocks to Ellen 4th, and the SAC-RT Airport Express buses leave there for Sacramento International Airport every 60 minutes, and the YOLO bus comes through there every 60 minutes also. They're sort of staggered, so there's a bus that comes by about every 40 minutes. So that can be a really nice connection for folks to, you know, just get off, walk 2 blocks, and hop on that bus. It takes, according to their schedule, 17 minutes for that bus to go from L and 4th to Terminal A. So, and then obviously the Sacramento Valley Station stop is very convenient from the standpoint that you've got the Capital Corridor trains right there. They're heading to the Bay Area with very regular service that stops in, you know, Berkeley, Oakland, Santa Clara, San Jose. So we're hoping to have it timed such that, you know, our buses would arrive maybe like 20 minutes before those trains depart to give folks enough time to get off the bus, walk along the sidewalk over to the train station, the platform, and not be stressed. And those kind of connections, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, and then also at Sac Valley Station, the SAC-RT light rail has a station right there. Those buses come every those light rail trains come every 15 minutes, which provides great connections within downtown Sacramento, putting a stop that's 2 blocks away from the proposed Midtown station for Amtrak San Joaquin's and the Ace when they expand northward. So anyway, we're kind of excited to move this forward, but we need to make sure, you know, we've got our numbers right and everything. So stay tuned till until December, January. Happy to answer any questions.
What type of bus? I know Reading looked at electric buses now.
Now, it's too much distance for electric bus to cover, so there'd be diesel buses initially, and there'd be coaches with bathrooms and Wi-Fi.
Hydrogen won't work.
At some point.
Not yet.
At some point, yeah.
What would be the holdup from doing this? Is it just funding from the state of California, or?
Well, we need to make sure like that, we've got these TIRCP funds.
Okay.
We've got 21 million, and this could be used for capital and operations. So we can run a pilot system for service for a couple of years, right? And run the operational costs off those TIRCP. But we need to make sure that once those run out, you know, we've got a funding source that we can keep it going with. And we're aware of some, but, yeah, so, but maybe there's nothing holding it up, I don't know.
Yeah, there's really, the only thing that's holding it up is just making sure that we get the right details in place in order to deliver the service. So buses are hard to get a hold of. Can we lease them? Should we probably not buy them? Probably lease them. We have there's a lot of money. They've already deposited it with us. So we've never been in a situation where we had the actual funds specific to this type of a service.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense for us to really look at it as hard, you know, a good solid look and say, okay, you know, how many people, you need bodies, right? And we have enough bodies to use the service that for a pilot, I mean, we could feasibly sustain the service for 5 years or longer with the amount of funds that we have. By then, you would think you would have a pretty good idea of what the service is going to cost so that you can determine, well, can our local sources fund this? Can our TDA help do this? And so everything kind of really lines up well for us to put our best foot forward.
I like the idea that it has a connection to the airport. Even though it would take a while, you'd have to plan 3 hours probably. The airport probably, just traffic and everything else. You have no idea what the fare would be to Sacramento.
The 2022 study identified $10 from Chico. So, and we've kind of already scratched that surface a little bit, and like $11 or $12 one way.
$8.
Yeah. And those aren't finalized.
Yeah.
This is all just really preliminary, but.
And the reason I say that is that if anybody's flown out of Sacramento recently, parking is horrendous.
Yeah.
And so last time, my wife and I, we hired an Uber to take us, and it was like $100 each way.
Right.
So even if it took more time to
Yeah.
get on a bus and there for 20 or 25 or $30 to get there, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, because like if you're parking in East Economy,
Oh,
and you gotta wait for those shuttle buses.
Yeah.
to take you all the way, you know, it's like, how long before you actually arrive at the terminal?
exactly. So I think it's a great thing. Hopefully, we get it started.
I
Right, I have
just came
comments
back.
and questions.
Got a comment right here.
Yeah, so first, are you in coordination with Shasta County on their bus that they're?
Yes.
And then are you in coordination with the city of Sacramento on, they have an upcoming effort, if they get grant funding, to move their bus stops and consolidate the regional bus stops within downtown? I doubt that would negatively impact anything.
Sure, contact them, not a problem.
Yeah, as we move forward through this little process until December, we're gonna be reaching out to the various agencies. There's quite a bit of coordination with our friends at Chico State, who we know there's a big demand among Chico State students to get down there. With them, with SACOG, they might be a potential funding partner, operations. JPA.
UBSUtter, we're gonna go.
UBSUtter too, make sure they know, like,
Caltrans headquarters, rail and transit. Great. Yeah, they've been helping with the CERTA study too, with getting stops in time, right? Especially in coordination with the trains like you're talking about. So that'll be really exciting. Wanted to share that I've been a regular user of the loophole where you book the Amtrak throughway ticket to Davis, but don't take the train so that you can get to Sacramento for meetings. That currently costs about $20. But you know, it's a pain to have to book your ticket to Davis. And they only have 3 per day, and if you're coming home, you have to wait for the San Joaquin's trains, which are only on time 60% of the time. So you might end up home at midnight. So I'm glad that we'll have an alternative to that coming up, but I wanted to ask if you know of any progress on opening bus-only tickets on that Amtrak route. Route 3 throughway.
Outside of what we're proposing sort of here.
Yeah, SJRC.
Like, do we have any information on what they're proposing to do?
Just any updates, because last I talked to SJRC, they. But I don't know what the holdup is.
I haven't heard anything.
We haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
One thing I'll just add real quick is like that current Amtrak Route 3, they do 3 round trips a day from Chico to Sac, whereas we're looking at might be 9 preliminarily, and there'd be like at least 2 commute slots in the morning, and then commute return slots in the afternoon, and then like buses every 1 to 2 hours.
Okay, and you'll have opposite of commute direction too?
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I've gone to the airport that way, but it's kind of a headache. Currently, aren't lined up, and you can go there so many days, and then like this after.
Yeah, if you have a 2-hour connection, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, so this will really be.
On the airport connection, the key to that will be if somebody takes a ride down there, you're gonna have to be able to give them a ride back. I came back late last night. 3-hour drive isn't gonna be a big deal, because it was 2.5 hours from the time that plane landed to the time I got home, so 3 hours is not a problem. $99 for the, parking lot, so your $10 fee. It will be ability, if I go in and, on a flight in the morning, and I wanna come back late in the afternoon or evening, be able to connect the bus that brings me back.
Yeah, I think, you know, if we are able to do the 9 round trips per day, it'd be a bus coming back up every 1 to 2 hours from Sac, and then those Airport Express buses are put them together, it's about every 40 minutes. It could be good. We're hopeful, yeah.
Chris, I thought that those TIRCIP funds had to be used for rail development, though, so
Yeah, they're not just rail, any sort of transit, and then there's sort of like the competitive grant TIRCIP, and then these are like the formula funds, where we just got straight allocated the money. And with the formula through SB 125, it's specific that it's bus and passenger rail, and then it's also capital projects, but also operations. Helpful for us, because service for future.
another question I have is, I'm in a group on Facebook that's all, like, parents of folks at Chico State, and one of the main complaints I hear is about how the Chico State shuttle is always full. And so the students are, you know, there's always a group of students that have booked the shuttle and they're okay, and then there's, you know, 100 more who are, you know, trying to figure out how to get down to the airport. And so I'm wondering, is there going to be any coordination with the shuttle or just with students?
Yeah, we're going to coordinate with Chico State. I can commiserate, I have 3 daughters in college, all up and down the West Coast, so trying to get them home at break and trying to get them to the various airports. Yeah, we'll work with Chico State for sure. And it may be that we're able to do extra runs at the end of the semester, or maybe that we're working in concert with them to sort of supplement what they're doing, or vice versa.
Is there any way that we can do more fare box recovery, as it were, than a minimum? Because all of these parents are paying $100 to the, you know, the airport shuttle, and, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
It seems like, and have, especially when this 5 years lapses,
Right.
we can have this bus supporting itself.
Yeah, I think we want to, that's really, there's 2 big pieces. One, do we have enough bodies? And 2, what kind of fare do we really need to look at that's good, it's attractive, and it's useful, it helps us stay. That's probably a number that's higher than $10. I find it hard to believe that $10 actually work, but, you know, if we are looking at something on the order of $20, that really could be the difference that provides a significant amount of income that relieves any local funds that we would have to use.
To look at comparable is one idea that I was thinking is for people who regularly take the buses to Sacramento or something, or whatever, you know, you could have passes available for regular riders, so that then you can charge more for the occasional airport traveler or something.
Any other
Can
questions?
we, yeah, just real quickly, can we keep this on the agenda for just kind of find out, where we are on it? You know, not to put pressure on you, Chris. but-
Sure, yeah. Yeah,
I think obviously it sounds like it's something a lot of us are interested
absolutely.
I'd like to mention too, I think the update on the study is probably very valid because of the improvements to Highway 70. We have a lot more traffic coming to it and commuters to it from Warrenville and Marysville. Plus the idea of having Wi-Fi, I know our medical professionals are hospitals run their own bus system right now to that, so hopefully that could be part of your study to see how many medical professionals would do that thing. And the only problem is they leave early in the morning. Buses leave Warrenville at 3:00 in the morning, those folks, so. I think it's a great idea to update because there's a lot of things happening, especially the medical professionals, and they also would need onboard Wi-Fi. That's the kicker to it. It could be an attractive way to do it. Realizing that's a more expensive cost, but at least know what the numbers are for that.
Wi-Fi makes a lot of sense, and surprisingly, restrooms are hard. That presents a significant cost challenge.
All good stuff, so thank you.
Any other questions or comments? We'll move on to 14, annual transit.
Lord. So this is just an informational item on our annual TAM plan. Our TAM plan covers, current TAM plan covers September 23 to August 27. And we're required to do the annual review, which ties into our annual. The current review covers prior September to August, so for the August 5. The findings this year, not many. We did adjust our useful life benchmark. We had a kind of an exception before, and we decided to bring it back in line with the standard FTA. So that updated our replacement target to 11% for fixed route and 48% paratransit cutaways, which was not much of an adjustment from the prior review. About half of our cutaways were being beyond their useful life benchmark, and we're in the process of replacing them. The 6 new Freightliner buses that were placed into service, they did actually have a minimal impact on targets because we had several buses come out of service over this time period. So this was about 5 buses that I did. And so that was because of the revised benchmark. So the review gets signed off by Andy and good to go for this year.
Questions or comments? Moving on. Title VI program, Amy.
Item number 2. So also our annual review for our Title VI program was conducted. It covers the period of June 1st in the previous year to May 31st. Basically no significant findings or any adjustments needed to be made. The staff was surveyed in the first part of this year, on the drivers and everything, so the staff. The only languages that kind of came up secondary to our required limited English speakers was Russian, Hindi, and other like Southeast, so and some Chinese. Communication aids used by the staff to include the flashcard and also getting help from bilingual staff. And then the communication needs they all feel are being met with no valid Title VI in June 1st.
And questions or comments? Any complaints?
How would, I don't have a complaint, I just have a question. So if somebody had limited English and had a complaint, how would they complain?
So the Title VI complaint process is posted in all our buses and online and everything. our required languages, which are, English, Spanish, and Hmong. And that's based on a population survey. In the buses, they have cards that have about 5 languages on there, and they would present that card. Hopefully it's somebody that can read their own language, that could be, that's basically what's the requirement and what we can do.
I was just wondering, like, if it was a Russian speaker who got on the bus and
They would just, yeah, they could instruct them to call us or call customers. We would get that situation.
Any questions or comments? On then to Butte Regional Transit Beeline, fourth quarter report, Victoria.
I'm here with the fourth quarter of fiscal year 25, the entire, update, which also covers the entire fiscal year. Overall, we have seen that fixed route ridership is relatively very similar to what we saw in 23-24. However, we're noticing some disturbing trends with paratransit, whole sector where month over month it's just going down in a way that is difficult to explain, but we have started to think about how we, on why ridership is no longer improving for fixed route and why ridership is actively going down. As you can see, for the entire fiscal year for rural paratransit, it's down 20% versus year. So we are definitely noticing a drop in ridership in rural, a slight drop in urban fixed route, a slight increase in rural fixed route, and a slightly larger but still not very significant increase in urban paratransit. The urban paratransit and the rural paratransit generally cancel each other out with the ridership changes, but we're not seeing that anymore. We did see that there were no preventable accidents in the quarter, and there were 2 valid, which are both excellent. Of course, we do strive for 0 complaints, but that's not always possible. When we're talking about ridership specifically, it's important to think about like the entire situation that Beeline has gone through since the Camp Fire. Ridership was at a national high in 2015, and then we had the Camp Fire in and then it started to taper off as it became easier for people to car. Gas became cheaper. And then in 2018, we had the Camp Fire, and that really decimated the fixed route in the immediate, and as a paratransit in the immediate time, immediately following the fire. As we had, as I'm sure all of you remember, we had that sudden influx of people in Chico. We had, Paradise no longer had any ridership for a little bit because nobody up there, especially for paratransit, and then smoke in the air, and that shortly followed by the dam spillway. So we were just recovering from that when COVID hit, and that dropped us down to 70% dropped us down by 70% from pre-Camp Fire numbers. So what you're when you're thinking about ridership, we were hovering around 1 million riders annually, and then these 2 disasters happened, and suddenly we were at 300,000. So when you think about what happened in 22, 23, 21, 22, and then even last year in 24, 25, you see these gains of ridership that were really dramatic and looked great, and it looked like we were just coming back strong. That was because it was so low to begin with. And now we've petered out. 24 saw about 620,000 riders annually on the fixed route. 24-25 saw 621,000. It was literally a 900 ride difference.
So that's what we expect to see in this coming. This is one of the reasons why we're doing this rebrand and this marketing push is because we don't really know why. Like, part of it is as telehealth, grocery services, people are more willing to pay for that convenience of not having to leave their house. Part of it might have to do with the fact that they might not have anywhere else that they actually need to go. Maybe they're working remotely. Part of it is inflation. You know, it is still only $2 to ride the bus in town, but that doesn't mean that it's just $2 for them to take their trip if they have been priced out of the things they were going to do anyway. You know, even something as simple as a cup of coffee. Like if you used to be able to get a cup of coffee at any grocery or at any coffee shop for under $5 or for under $3. Now you're looking at $6 or $7. So it's like those optional trips that help people have a fulfilling life are starting to become less and less. And then also specifically for paratransit, it seems like it's a matter of low awareness, not just with the riders or the potential riders as people age into the system and become start to need services like door-to-door paratransit, but for the workers and the advocates in the community as higher and younger people faces, we are seeing the effects of that loss of knowledge in the workforce. Because Amy and I, whenever we're out and we see someone from like, it's a 50-50 shot, whether they're like, oh, my clients could really use you. I didn't know that Beeline did all of this stuff. Or someone who has heard of us. And there shouldn't be a 50% chance that you don't know that paratransit exists in this town and in this county. So, you know, we are working with AMA Consulting to help bridge that gap in awareness as well as making sure that we have a paratransit system that is robust and can fit the needs of Butte County as we do have an aging populace and we are trying to do our best to help them age in place. And what we view that as is really a three-tier system where we have the in-town service for paratransit, so inner-city paratransit to help connect people from one town to another within Butte County to go to doctor's appointments and other lifeline services, so that if someone is in Gridley and they get referred to a doctor in Chico or in Oroville, they can go to that doctor's appointment without having to worry about how they're going to get there or how they're going to pay for it. And similarly, if someone's, you know, in Vigilia, they get referred to a doctor in Chico or Oroville. So it will connect all of those places. It's not specific, just within a bubble. And then also the other thing that AMA Consulting is looking at is a limited NEMT service, lifeline service to the outlying communities of Butte County that would not operate every day of the week, but it would be a reservation-based system that would provide pickup locations around in those more rural communities, so that if there is someone in Sterling City or Honcut who needs a ride to the doctor in Chico or Oroville, they can have access to that trip and they can make that ride so that they can continue to age in place and maintain their health. Question.
Any questions or comments?
Question, how are you doing on drivers? Is that still an issue?
We currently have enough drivers, and we are also always recruiting for more drivers, so it fluctuates fairly regularly. I believe right now, I just spoke with Transip HR yesterday. Right now, we are.
So I'm going there tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. We provide service to Clipper Mills, God's place, it's mostly in Yuba County.
We don't, I mean.
No, we will. That would be covered under the NEMT program.
Some of those particular areas in like the farther southeastern reaches are more accessible from Yuba County. So we're kind of trying to find what's that limit.
I'll be there on Saturday, so they asked me, I'll call you, county.
You know, it is a strange thing, because I know friends in LaPorte actually drive to Oroville for groceries. They think they could go to Marysville, but no, they come to Oroville. So there's a really different transportation system going there between that, Falls, the whole East Foothills. Silver, that's a good point. That's a future solution somewhere down the line. Never get the population back and homes rebuilt. I hear it all the time, so. That's that problem.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, one more comment, just, do we have, data to back up whether it's an issue or not? Because, I mean, I don't know, this is kind of a vague question, sorry, you just brought that up and that stuck in my mind.
Yeah, fares, are in line with other agencies of our size and our region, you know, in Northern California. We have always received some complaints are on a fixed income that the fare is too high, but for about half of those people, any fare would. So it's really hard to say that the fares themselves are the issue versus this larger cultural thing and this larger socioeconomic thing. For a number of those people, they were, and they do take rides paid for by an organization, and those organizations have no problem. And they, like Far Northern is a heavy user of our paratransit system, and they have never expressed any sort of discontent with the fare that we charge. But I know that like Passages lost funding for several programs, so they are no longer able to buy passes, as many passes for their clients. Taylor Center also buys passes for their clients on a limited basis. If those programs are losing funding, then their ability to support their clients to take those rides also something.
More what I was wondering, having a fair in general, and this was ringing a bell with the conversation that I had with from the Butte County Office of Education about youth fairs, and that a lot of student programs are losing funding, getting youth or foster kids to school, and I'm worried that that could be. And just want to throw it out there that if there is any way for our county to help support people who need to get passes, I'm wondering if there's
Quick question, I've noticed and seen a lot more of the smaller buses in town. Would that be correct to identify that as the paratransit system?
The paratransit system is the small buses. If you're talking about the smaller blue buses that are like completely blue,
Yeah.
those are Freightliners, those are fixed route. But it will soon be a lot easier to identify one system from another, with the car in the middle of. I won't speak on because I don't know if there's another item about it.
We have two from the floor items when you guys are ready.
Are we done? All right, from the floor, not agendized, we can't take action. We can certainly listen to you.
If I can go.
Yeah.
I got much to do. Yep. I got busy days. For the board's awareness, at last month's board agenda, I included an item on the, California Transportation Commission town hall meetings that are tomorrow. Yesterday, I hosted in this room the North State Super Region, representing California's north and 16 counties, and staff and Caltrans. Today, at 7:30, we are doing a regional bus tour, going through Chico, checking out some projects that have been completed and coming up, like the downtown finalization project, and we're going up the ridge to Paradise and the loop around there, and then come back down. From 5 to 7 is a welcoming reception at the barn in Merriam Park. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock in this room, we're having the town hall presentations from the City of Chico, Explore Butte County, Paradise, City of Oroville, Caltrans on the of the Highway 70 corridor. We'll pick up in front of Marysville High School. Yeah, just wanted to let you know, I have copies of the agenda in the back of the room if you're interested, or if you have any questions. We'll talk to you after.
Tonight. Yep. In the morning. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay,
there another
what's
thing?
the other item from the?
Amy, you want to give a little summary of our brand launch happening next week?
Sure. You'll see that you received a little package of our flyers, about our event, and so we're happy to have this event happen. It's from this charity, it's an open house, a little 15-minute program, and then another little open house. We'll have the buses, 3 of the newly wrapped buses will be there for people who are on the branding. We've invited over 250 community members, and I sent out about 30 press releases to the media. So we're excited to share what's coming. We're excited about the new branding. We hope you'll take one of those flyers and pass it to the staffers. Any members you feel may want to be invited. I believe we have a group coming from the community, unified for some special education there on an outing. It's Free Fair Day, in conjunction with Clean Air Day as well. So we tied it all together, and there's a shuttle will be leaving from the centers at those times listed. So everybody can hop on, come on down. We're gonna have a little bit of refreshments there as well. Hopefully it will not be raining, so we have a contingency plan for rain. Yeah, we're just real excited about getting our plans. Our theme is, as you see, is building a better V-line, so we'll be working with that, for the next year or so, and everything set up. So.
Our location will be out behind this other building over here, just behind it, shop.
It is October 1st. All that information is on there, and then, the buses will be dropping off kind of behind here, so you get dropped off and you'll walk over.
There is distinctive new branding for the 3 different services, or the 4 different services really, including the Chico to Sacramento bus. So you'll be able to see the new branding and what the new buses look like for fixed route, micro transit, and
The fixed route one will be the electric one, so. Everybody coming?
Is there somebody online with a question?
Online comments at all?
You just asked me what time the event was, I responded.
All good?
10:15,
Is it really?
Oh, it's really good.
All right.
So important,
All right.
not related to classes,
Go ahead.
our new Max Journal classes. I just, a number of meetings that I have been in, one of the major areas of conversation is regarding transportation. And I don't know, scheduling wise or who it might be possible for, but the rural local master plan on aging, I know that, I know you've, and Amy, I think you as well. But transportation continues to be kind of one of the biggest topics. That meeting takes place online the 4th Wednesday of every month at 1 p.m. In October, on the 17th, there's going to be the whole senior leadership forum that's going to be up in Reading. So if anybody wants to carpool, that out there. And then the 2 other meetings are the Diversibility Action Network. The next one is November 21st at 1:30, and then also our Continuum of Care Households with Children. The transportation to and from school has been a major issue that's been identified. That's the first Tuesday of every month at 1 p.m. So all of them are Zoom meetings. and we would love to have some BCAG presence.
I mean, that's precisely the community of people that do this all for.
Want to go, I don't want to admit I'm old. Any other questions or comments? Would you like to give a report on the university?
I do have a comment about the, oh, yeah. Oh. Okay, good morning for everybody who doesn't know who I am. I'm Jesse Horgan. I'm the Parking Services Manager for the university, and I'm the Chair of the Alternative Transportation Committee. One of my responsibilities is the shuttle to the Sacramento Airport. Currently, we pay $22 per student to go to the airport, and I'm happy to share my ridership numbers and my wait lists and all of that that's going on right now. And expanding that service is a discussion that we are in. I'm looking at adding extra shuttles. So it would be really great for us to have a partnership with Butte County that gets people to the airport. Also, it's been one of my projects to expand enrollment in the university by making it easier to get here. Sometimes we hear that the housing cost here in Butte County is lower, but getting back and forth to Chico is an obstacle if you don't have a car. And so one of the things we look at from the feedback we get is, can a person bring a bike with them? If you look at the Amtrak train to Chico, the bike tickets are always sold out. They're sold out like 6 months. No, there is, not on the,
On the thruway, I have to have a ticket.
so if you go to the Coast Starlight, they have bike, tickets. Yeah. Oh, well, that's a thing that we are looking at, right? Like, how do people bring their bike with them, right? And so if you look at what type of bus and can people bring a bike out, currently we don't allow bikes, but we allow 2 carry-on bags to be taken with them. So those kind of considerations are things that I'd love to partner with Butte County on.
Thank you very much. Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, kind of adjourn. Next, meeting of BCAG Board of Directors is scheduled for October 23rd, right here. Meeting adjourned. Good job, everyone.
Good job, everyone.
Good job.